The world's financial power structure is crumbling. While most people sleep, BRICS nations are quietly orchestrating the biggest financial revolution since Bretton Woods. They are not just challenging the dollar, they are replacing it with something far more powerful. Here is the shocking truth that Western media won't tell you. BRICS controls 72% of the world's rare earth reserves, 21% of global niobium production, and enough gold to back their own monetary system. This isn't theory anymore, it's happening right now. So, as we chatted about in the vid last year, that old news has finally been confirmed on September 18th, 2025 at the Moscow Financial Forum. Russian Deputy Finance Minister Alexei Moiseev announced action plans for a dedicated BRICS Precious Metals Exchange. This isn't just another trading platform, it's a financial weapon designed to destroy Western market manipulation. Think about this. For decades, a small circle of London banks has controlled global gold prices through the London Fix. They have deliberately excluded Russia, one of the world's largest gold producers, from price discovery. But what happens when you control the actual gold? The BRICS exchange will trade gold, platinum, and diamonds using national currencies instead of dollars. Countries like Kyrgyzstan are already celebrating this move, knowing it will minimize currency risks and strengthen their resilience to external financial shocks. Can you imagine the panic in London and New York when this launches? Which country do you think will benefit the most from this new precious metals exchange? Here is where it gets terrifying for the West. BRICS doesn't just have some resources. They have a stranglehold on everything that matters in the 21st century. China alone processes 90% of all rare earth metals and a staggering 99.9% of heavy rare earth metals. These materials power every smartphone, electric vehicle, and military system in existence. But it gets worse for America. Brazil controls 91% of global niobium production. The metal is essential for hypersonic weapons that can fly over 5 times the speed of sound. China has already conducted over 20 times more hypersonic tests than the United States by 2018. The US has had no substantial niobium mining since 1959 and imports 66% from Brazil. Guess who owns 26% of Brazil's niobium production? Chinese companies. Have you ever wondered which resources your country depends on most from BRICS nations? If this information has shocked you, don't keep quiet. Press that like button and share the video. The mainstream media won't cover this story enough, so we need to spread the truth ourselves. And don't forget to hit subscribe and leave your comments. While America prints money, BRICS hoards gold. The numbers are staggering. BRICS nations collectively hold over 12,500 tons of gold reserves. China has 2,300 tons. Russia has 2,300 tons. And they are not stopping there. China even opened its first offshore gold vault in Hong Kong, allowing trading partners to convert yuan directly into gold through the Shanghai Gold Exchange, completely bypassing the dollar. This is financial warfare at its finest. BRICS nations increased their share of global gold holdings from just 5% to 22% between 2008 and 2021. Saudi Arabia now accepts yuan for 12% of its oil trades. The petrodollar system is cracking. What happens when 68% of BRICS trade already bypasses the US dollar? What happens when global dollar reserves fall to their lowest level since 2000? The answer is simple. America loses its ability to print its way out of problems. But I'm happy to tell you India is also doing really well. Yeah, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is serious about this. At the July 2025 BRICS summit in Rio de Janeiro, Modi warned that control over 90% of rare earth processing by one nation creates dangerous vulnerabilities and represents a potential new form of silent warfare. His solution: a BRICS-wide critical minerals alliance. India approved a 50 billion rupees initiative to mine and process critical minerals domestically. They are exploring 9,000 square kilometers of cobalt and copper reserves in Zambia. They secured major lithium deals with Argentina. But here is the kicker. Their historic economic deal with Brazil focuses on mining rights for lithium and rare earth minerals, settled in local currencies. No dollars, no Western banks, pure bilateral sovereignty. Do you see the pattern emerging here? Africa has got a pretty big role in all this. Let's be clear, Africa is no longer just a source of raw minerals. By 2029, up to 8 rare earth projects will be commissioned across Africa, potentially supplying 10% of the world's rare earth demand. The Democratic Republic of Congo and Zambia are pioneering the Battery Minerals Corridor initiative. Angola's Longonho project secured an $80 million loan in January 2025 and will supply 5% of global magnet metal demand. Rejected US proposals for special access to critical minerals, stating the country desires a cross-cutting strategy for everyone, not just America. Even the African Development Bank proposed the African Units of Account, a pan-African currency backed by critical minerals. What happens when Africa stops selling raw materials cheap and starts processing them locally? The numbers reveal America's desperation. China produces at least 200,000 tons of rare earth magnets annually and plans to increase production to 260,000 tons. Japan produces 25,000 tons. The US must purchase at least 30,000 tons annually because its 4 operational magnet factories produce significantly less. Europe produces less than 3,000 tons. The US is scrambling with a proposed $5 billion critical minerals fund. The European Union is investing in a French production facility expected to supply 15% of global heavy rare earth demand by late 2026. But here is the problem: that European facility must rely on recycling or imported mineral concentrates. Europe still needs 16,000 tons of rare earth magnets from China each year. They are building dependency, not independence. Western exchanges aren't sitting idle. The London Metal Exchange reduced trading fees by 30%. Chicago commodity markets extended trading hours. New York precious metal dealers offer faster settlement times. But these changes feel like band-aids on a broken system. The fundamental power structure remains unchanged. BRICS nations still face the same vulnerabilities to sanctions and dollar dependency. Did you hear about Trump's ambition to reclaim Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan? It's not just a geopolitical move. Bagram's prime location is estimated to hold mineral resources worth up to $3 trillion, including iron, copper, gold, silver, and gems. You do the math. What do you think about this strategic move? Smart positioning or too late to make a difference? The Moscow Financial Forum discussions represent more than just economic policy. They are the blueprint for a multipolar world. When BRICS establishes independent pricing standards for gold, platinum, and critical minerals, Western powers lose their ability to impose unilateral financial sanctions. The proposed BRICS geological platform will ensure knowledge exchange and sustainable resource management across member states. This isn't just about creating an alternative system. It's about creating a superior system, one based on real assets instead of printed paper, one based on transparent pricing instead of bank manipulation, one based on mutual cooperation instead of financial coercion. The BRICS Mineral Exchange, it's coming. Initial projections suggested full implementation by 2030. Recent progress indicates launch could happen by 2027. Political pressure is accelerating development timelines. Technical breakthroughs are solving problems faster than expected. Growing membership is providing additional resources and expertise. The momentum appears unstoppable at this point. The only question left is, will you recognize this historic shift before it's too late? What do you think will happen when this exchange officially launches? Drop your predictions in the comments below. I read every single one and often feature the best insights in future videos. The new global gold standard isn't just changing how we trade commodities. It's rewriting the rules of economic power itself. And the BRICS nations are holding all the cards. Have a read of the full report on Substack and subscribe if you like. We don't have a paywall on our content, but if you become a subscriber, you can help support the channel and allow us to do more and do better. Till next time, it's goodbye. Thanks for watching.